And welcome back to another day, guys. We're gonna continue on with this project. um, we already did the base, and we're gonna lay down some color now. So I use three different colors pretty much all the time I do a portrait. Skin color, a medium brown, very dark brown, and of course I'll come back with the black and white highlights. um, and then sometimes I'll add a little bit of blush here and there with kind of like a pink peach color. I made this myself, so we'll use that as well. I'm gonna lay down maybe like 2 layers of this skin color, and I'm just gonna roughly drop it in there. um, I don't really mind overspray actually in the eyes. Kind of gives us a kind of like a whitish area, so we can put some color in there as well. And I'm just kind of like throwing in the color, not worried about anything else, but just laying down the color. I do put some of this skin color in the lips as well, and a little bit on the eyes. Like that. Sometimes if the hair is brown, I'll add a little bit of this, to give it that yellowish look before I add the brown on there. So I'm gonna throw that on there a little bit. So that's the one layer. I'm gonna put a second layer, and I'm gonna continue on with this one. So the next step is to add some blush before I add any brown to this. So let's go ahead and get our blush, which is this color right here. It's kind of watered down because we want it to be, kind of transparent, not too obviously bright and stuff. You're just tinting the skin color wherever it needs to be tinted at. So normally we go lips, and then the cheeks. There's always a little bit of blush around the nose and around the face, like that. Also around the chin area. So we'll do that. And for this one, I don't get crazy with this color because it'll look like they have makeup on, which I don't want. I just want to tint a little bit of it. You can even apply from far and just give the whole thing a small little tint. That's just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to take our time and put in the medium brown, and this is kind of the area where you want to focus on the detail. You want to focus on the detail because this is what's going to make or break the painting. So you want to take your time and just kind of, you can tint it if you need to tint it, but make sure you try to get as many shadows as possible in here. And yeah, so let's get to it. So I'll continue laying it down kind of lightly, and then I'll keep adding layers to it. So I'll do one pass, I'll do a second pass with the same color, and try to make it darker and darker as I keep going. And once I see that it's kind of, you know, at the right shade of brown, then I'll go ahead and work with the darker brown. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on time lapse. This way you guys can kind of skip over some of this stuff. There's no real trick here. All you gotta do is just look at your reference material and try to apply as close to, you know, the reference photo as possible. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, and we're done putting down the medium brown. So I'm gonna give you guys generic tips that I found, that I kind of like came across throughout, you know, all this time working on portraits. Maybe it'll help you guys redefine or, you know, better your portrait look. So let me show you guys. Hold on. So we'll start from the top to the bottom. As far as, like, you know, pretty much the majority of the portraits have the same, you know, idea, or like the same shadowing, if you will. So on the forehead, there's always a shadow on the left. I'm sorry, on the left and on the right, like that. Obviously, you always have a shadow around the entire shape of the face on this line coming in. Around the eyes, you have shadowing. You have these two shadows here. So make this kind of round like this. There's always a shadow in between the eyes on the bridge of the nose for some reason. There's always this little dip that goes in before the nose actually starts. So that's always there. There's always, everybody has these little bags, including the kids. They might not show as clearly, but everybody has them. This here, on the bridge of the nose. Oops. On the bridge of the nose. I'm sorry, on the nose itself, there's always this little circle right here. So imagine that's a ball, and then obviously the shadowing there. It's kind of weird on the nose. The nose is one of those things that it's kind of difficult to get right, because you have shadowing, obviously the ball right here, but you have different shadowing, because it stops here and then it drops down in. So sometimes you have shadowing down here, sometimes you have shadowing up here, sometimes you have shadowing down on the side. So it's kind of difficult to get the nose just right. So you may want to take your time on the nose, because it's very difficult to get the shadowing, because it's going all, you know, different places and stuff. So it's very difficult to get that. The lips, once the lips end, there's always this little extra line when the lips are closed. So you always have that. So the lips end right here, and you always have that little extra line right here. There's always a shadow underneath the lip, and obviously we talked about the face and stuff. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. Kind of just keep that in mind and you should be good to go. What else? Oh, the teeth. I never put in the lines. I've tried to put in lines for the teeth, and they always look like gaps. So I try to avoid that. For the teeth, I just kind of, right now it has like a medium white. So I'll come back with the highlight and just kind of highlight the tooth. I won't even put a gap in there. So even though, like, only if like the person actually has like a big gap and is pronounced, and that's what, you know, obviously their face is. I'll go ahead and put it in, but if they don't have a gap, I'll just highlight the teeth, and that's it. I won't put any lines in there. For the eyes, normally what I do is I'll go ahead and add some white onto the pupil, and then I'll add the color, whatever that might be, and I'll bring a shadow from the top to the bottom, and then outline. Well, you'll see right now. I'll go ahead and outline the pupil there. So I'll show you that in a minute. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much. If you keep those in mind, then your portrait should have some sort of depth to it. So let's go ahead and add the dark brown, and then we'll move on to the background. Alright, so we've laid down the dark brown, and I only used it a little bit, just in the certain areas where it needed to be. I noticed after adding the brown that the lips look too washed out, so I'm going to come back with the peach color, the blush color, and I'm going to add a little bit more to their lips so they look more lively. All right, that's good enough, I think. We are going to be, so I looked over the details for the background, and it turns out that the customer wants to have some sort of American flag theme going on, so that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna put probably some lines, some of the lines, the red and white lines going like this, and probably a little bit of the blue in this corner with the stars up here. So this way it gives it a nice flow. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll probably add like 2 or 3 different layers of the color in the back. This way it's nice and bright. And we'll go ahead and do that now. So at this point, the base color is already done. Obviously, there's no detail, there's no highlights or anything like that. We just laid down the base color. This way it pops a little more. A lot of layers on the blue, a lot of layers on the red, a couple layers on the skin color. I added a little tint of blue to the eyes. They actually show gray on the boy. I'm guessing the dad probably has the same color eyes, so I'm just gonna try to mimic the colors, but I'm gonna make them a little bit darker. They look gray, so I'm gonna throw a little bit of gray. I'm gonna work on the eyes now, and let's try to add some gray on there. At this point, before we move forward and finalize this painting, you can add additional colors on here to kind of make it not so flat, I guess. For example, on the blues, oops, I think it's still wet. On the blues, you can throw a little bit of purple to give it a variety of shade, and of course you can throw probably a little bit of purple on the red areas to make it look like shadow. I added blue where the black would be, just to give it some fading contrast, fading into the blue of the jacket. Throw a little bit of blue in here, a little bit of gray. His shirt is actually white, but I don't want to just do straight white. I just want to have a variety of color on there. So this is the perfect time to do that and play around. I'm going to throw some color on there to just give it a little bit more pop, and then we're almost done. So at this point, I'm pretty much satisfied with this so far. This is the perfect time to fix anything, add more color, you know, refine whatever you want. The last two steps is going to be adding black and white, and that's it. You're done. So at this point, we'll go ahead and allow some of this stuff to dry first before we continue on with the black and the white. All right, now it's time to have some fun. We're in the final stages, and this is we're gonna be painting the black, which will give us the contrast that we need and the sharpness. So what if you want to do fine lines like this, you want to make sure that you're nice and close to the painting. If you want to make something kind of faded, you want to be far. So play with that. And yeah, so let's I usually start with the eyes, so let's go ahead and do that first. So starting with the eyes, I'll do that line first. And then I'll outline it. At the pupil there, the hole. And then I'm gonna put a fade from the top to the bottom. This will allow me to, you know, have a little bit of the color of the actual eye, and then just give the eyes a little shade. And obviously you can add more detail if you like. I usually just keep it like this. And I'll go ahead and do the eyebrows. Let me take a look at my reference picture here. It's really blurry, so I'm gonna have to kind of guess. And normally the hair kind of grows from the outside in, and almost looks like you're doing arrows, like, you know, pointing out. So I'll be doing that. And as you can see, I'm not laying it thick. I'm allowing some of that brown that I had in there kind of come through to give the illusion that there's something there, but it's not really defined. And we'll go ahead and do the nostrils. Then we'll do the mustache. Same thing as the eyebrows, just allowing some of this brown to show through. Okay. The inside of the lips, kind of like the where they meet. It's kind of like the darkest area. I think the lips may need to be a little bit more red, so I may throw a little bit red when I come back here. So that's pretty much it for the face. Then you just outline the rest of the stuff. My black's a little bit watered down, so it shoots easier, but I do have to go back here and put 2 layers of black. That's why I get it as dark as possible. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, this is a little lighter versus this right here. It's kind of difficult to see. I don't know if you guys can see that. So even though I kind of threw some paint earlier, once I add this black, it kind of gives me a different level of shade. This way you can kind of tell that it's a black bow, but it's not really black. It's just, you know, has some tones in there. This way you can give it some shape. Right here I was trying to give it a little bit of depth, so I added some color here, so I'll start the black from here down. So I'll have the outline, a little bit of highlight, and then I'll start the black. where you really need to spend the majority of your time is in the black area. Using the black when you're doing the contrast, this is what's really gonna give it that detail. You just take your time. So the black on the dad is already done. You can see the comparison between the boy and the dad. It's a little bit sharper. So let's go ahead and do the kid. We don't have that much stuff to do. So again, I'll start with the eyes and work my way out. I don't usually put the eyelashes on guys. On children, I may extend it a little bit if it's a boy. For girls, I do. So for females, I do, especially if they're little girls, because it tends to obviously look, you know, they'll look a little bit cuter in that regards. But on boys, I don't. And then for the teeth, usually at the ends, because it's curved like this, put a little bit of shadow there. All right, let's do some outline here. It's kind of hard to airbrush because I'm not, you know, standing straight because I'm allowing you guys to see, so it's a little difficult to paint sideways. All right, the black is done. We have a pretty good amount of contrast on here, but obviously we need to add some more or some white to get the highlights in there, and that's what's going to tie everything together, the black and the white. So the white's always fun too. It just brings everything to life, and that's really the secret, is the highlights on the white. But first, I'm going to show you how to clear out that bottle. It was giving us a little bit of issue earlier. Again, sorry for the mess. So I have an empty bottle here. I'm going to take Awesome. You can use Windex, you can use water. I'm going to take this cap. Check my paint to make sure it has the correct consistency as milk. It's a little bit thick, which I think is kind of drying out. I'm gonna clean this siphon tube or straw. Okay. Then I'm gonna take this cap and put it over here, and we're gonna feed that liquid through there so it'll clear out there. For this one, I don't know if you can tell, it's a little bit thicker than I would like, so you can use this 4011 reducer. So let's see, maybe about there, 5%, 10%. You can also use water. I mean, you can use either or. This is recommended because I think it's just like paint but without any pigment on it, so it's probably obviously more durable, but water will work as well. So let's go ahead and take this, put this aside, shoot this through. I don't know if you heard that noise at the beginning. It sounded like there was something stuck in there. So I don't know if it was in the airbrush or in the tube. We'll try it again. Sometimes if it's not coming out correctly, even though this is clean, this little pinhole right here may be clogged. It needs air to pass through there to siphon up the paint, so just make sure that's not clogged. So I'm just gonna take this. Let's clear it out. So you can tell there's paint buildup right there. So got this old needle here. Let's see if we can take some of this stuff out. See that? That's a big piece right there. So that's probably what's preventing this bottle from spraying smooth. See, that hole's a little bit bigger now. You can also take like your little cleaners, these little guys. See if it'll help us out. Look at all that paint. Open that up. Let's clean some of this area off. Shoot some of that liquid through again. See if we can get it more clean. It's pretty fair. Let's see what happens. We're not shooting big areas, so I'm not really worried about it, you know, looking all choppy, since we're gonna do very fine highlights of the white. So go ahead and put this back on the white. Take one of these, cover that, cover this. So we put that water in there, or that reducer, so after this it should be ready to go. So again, you can start wherever you want. Let's go ahead and work on the face. So for sure, let's see, we need some glare on the eye, so we can put a line. Remember, you got those flashes and all kinds of weird stuff to do the photography. Okay, we got that. Then on the actual eyeball itself, the white section, I'm gonna put a little bit of highlight in there. This way it looks rounded. The bridge of the nose always has a highlight. And I'm looking at my reference picture as well, so I know where. There's the ball. The forehead always has white in that center portion and on top of the eyebrow. Coming back to the eyes. Remember, there's an eye in there that's round, so all this area is kind of like a ball. So highlight there, highlight here, and highlight here. So it's looking a little better. There's always highlights in the cheek. Let's see. We find where the highlight is right here and right here. need that much. The ears is always on the top. And here, just a little bit, so it doesn't look too flat. Where else do we need it? There's every time there's smiling in this area, that's a little bit of a highlight there. Chin. There. The lips. So we have a little bit of texture. I put lines in there, and then I kind of threw a faded pass over this. And top of the lip. And then we'll figure out where else we can put some highlights in here. So let's see, the hand. And then when you put the dot, you can put like a fade after it. It'll make it more realistic. So in this area here, there's always a little channel right underneath the nose. So then you'll have a little peak here and a little peak here. You can see it's coming together with the white. It's coming alive. All right. So on the teeth, like I said, I'm just going to put some highlights in the center. That'll give me the illusion that it's three-dimensional. He has a small gap right here, but I'm not going to worry about that. So that looks pretty good. It's coming together nicely. Let's put the highlight on the shirt. shoulders. I normally put an outline all the way around the head. Kind of makes it stand out a little bit, makes it pop against the background. Also make sure before you put the white that everything is dry, otherwise it's gonna start bleeding with the background color, and you're gonna have to come back again multiple times. So it's coming out pretty good. Let's see, have that. Let's do the white in the background here. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. How do I want to do it? I'm gonna throw it in there. It's kind of like a medium gray right now. It's not super white, so I'm just gonna throw it in the center. It'll give me a little shadow. Not too much. I don't want to have the white too crazy. I also don't want to put too much detail because I want the focus to be the faces. So it looks like it's losing a little bit of its sharpness right here between the blue and the white right here. So either I can put a line of white in there, maybe we can put some stitching in there. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Let's set the line first and see. That works. That works for me. I have some stencils of stars. Let me see if they're big enough. There we go. Which one works? Maybe this one. I'm not gonna make them too sharp, so I don't care if this is close to it. So it's kind of far. It's just the idea of the American flag. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because it is the background. I don't like that. Let's put it. There we go. See how we got an overspray right here? We can come back with the black and just fix that. Alright, before I come back and fix this, I have the white in the airbrush, so I'm going to put my signature on there. I used to do it by hand, but it never came out clean. And because I'm trying to do it as small as possible, I figured the best way to have it looking nice and clean would be to have a stencil. So I try to hide it down here in the bottom. I try to use similar colors that can kind of blend in with it. And this time around, I'll use just white. So before I fix this area with the black, let's add some flares. We don't have that much area to put flares in because it's, you know, the main thing is obviously the American flag. But let's add some flares on here. Maybe we make it work. Maybe down here. So I usually start off with a dot. Line, flare it out. Line, flare it out. Center out. Then blurry in the center. And then I put a ring around it. And then two dots after that. And then to add more to it, I just put some additional dots to incorporate the flow of the flare. So it's looking pretty good, I think. It all kind of makes sense at the end, you know, until you put the white on there, everything just looks kind of flat. I think we have a winner. I'm pretty satisfied with the results. Take the time to look it over, make sure you're not missing anything. Adjust whatever you need to adjust. Yeah, I think we're done with this one. All we gotta do is just heat press it to melt all the acrylic onto the fabric. It'll last if it's like this and you don't put anything on it. But it's always better to finish it the right way. I'm gonna throw a little, you like that word, a little, huh? So we're gonna throw some of this UV clear, and what this is gonna do is gonna make the color pop more, make the black darker, make the white whiter, and it'll give it more depth, more color. It'll help it protect it a little bit. I have it in a container here, so. All right, it's done. What do you guys think? Looks pretty nice to me, I think. I like it. I'm satisfied with it. All right, so our machine is nice and hot, 310, 311 degrees, and it's gonna be for 20 seconds. So let's see if we can figure out how to do this. It's gonna be kind of hard with the on there, so I have to open this up. If you guys don't have a press, I recommend you get one. This one I got it on Amazon. Let me show you the brand name. Bemmer SP. I don't know if you guys can read that up here. Got it on Amazon. I think it was $275, $300. But get the one that has the slider. It's better for you. So I'll go ahead and put a section at a time. This section, next section, I'll flip it around and then do the bottom section. And I'll always make sure to use this Teflon sheet. This way none of the paint sticks on your iron there. And what this is going to do is essentially melt the acrylic onto the fabric. So just be careful when you're airbrushing like synthetic stuff, synthetic fabrics, because they tend to melt. Well guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully I was able to bring some knowledge to you guys and learn something. I always like helping people, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the project. Yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys on the next video, next project. I'm not sure what's coming out next, but hopefully you guys are enjoying. So take it easy for now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.